96.7 KCAL rocks. Man, do we have some stuff to discuss in terms of sports with our guy, Pep. Let's check in with Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody out there. We crowned a Stanley Cup champion last night. The Colorado Avalanche defeating Tampa Bay to win the series 4-2. This is their third Stanley Cup championship. And here's what I want to point out with this, guys, that the owner of the Colorado Avalanche is Stan Kroenke, his sports and entertainment group. So Stan Kroenke now has the Super Bowl championship with your LA Rams, of course, and now he's got the Colorado Avalanche as the Stanley Cup champion. This guy also owns the Denver Nuggets. He owns Arsenal in the English Premier League. I think this guy's just trying to win every single championship on planet Earth, it feels like.
Well, if you have enough professional teams, one of them is going to win a championship, and it turns out two of them.
Congrats to Stan Kroenke, finally winning.
Yeah, finally getting a break. He can just work out for him.
I know that poor guy. Married the heiress to the Walmart fortune, owns all these professional sports teams. Finally, the guy gets a break, man. Finally.
The Walmart family is getting big in football.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and speaking of football, guys, the NFL training camp, the dates were released, so we know when teams will report to camp. So if you're a fan of the LA Rams, it won't be too much longer. They will report to UC Irvine on July 23rd, which is just a couple weeks away now. And the Chargers, they're going back to Costa Mesa, of course. That'll be on July 26th. So those training camp dates are literally right around the corner now as we look ahead to that next NFL season. It's upon us.
We need something because this is a tough zone for 40 to be in. We got baseball and only baseball for the next 2 months. 40, are you going to be okay?
Believe me, I've been staring at these training camp dates enough to notice that, okay, for the first time in a long time, the Raiders and the Cowboys are staying away from California.
True.
We're only getting the Chargers and the Rams around here.
True.
Yeah, it's a very quiet time because if you think about it, we have the Super Bowl and then we've got like all of the, the college football combines getting ready for the NFL draft and then the NFL draft and we've got free agency as well. But the month of June is kind of just a weird time. The month of June and of course the first couple of weeks of July is kind of a weird time for a football fan because there's literally not going on unless you go out to, let's say, Carter High School yesterday here in Rialto, go see Kenny Clark of the Green Bay Packers, who just got a huge payday in the offseason. There are those kinds of things, but for the NFL fan, yeah, it is a kind of a quiet time leading up to training camp.
This is the dog days of summer. That's what this is.
I'm gonna need the live golf to kind of pick it up with the drama here
See?
a little bit. Something I need something here. Maybe some UFC fights, some big fights or something like that. That'll help.
Just tide us all over, right, to training camp at the end of July. Unless, listen, 40, I know you can get behind this. You mentioned UFC. It's not exactly UFC, but it's a lot of fighting. It was the Angels and Mariners yesterday in a pretty good benches clearing brawl, man. We haven't seen a good one like this, I don't think, in a while. 8 guys in all ejected from both sides. And it was pretty good. Fists were thrown. Everybody was out on the field. Although Shohei and Mike Trout kind of stayed in the background a little bit. I don't necessarily blame them, but it was a pretty good fight.
Yeah, they did a good job of definitely getting rid of all of our good players and having all the Angel good players went away from the fight. Yeah. Mike Trout did step into this fray to get Justin Upton out of the pile, which is where this stems from. This stems from a few games ago where a high one went at Justin Upton, and then we threw a high one at Mike Trout. And then Jesse Winkler got plunked. Just so everyone knows, between the Astros and the Angels, the Mariners have been plunked 27 times. Do you know how many times that the Mariners threw at those two teams? 5 times. Wow. So Angels and Astros are bitches.
They like to just go at it with each other like that?
Yeah.
Now, I think the real victim here that nobody's really talking about is the poor box of sunflower seeds that was just sacrificed for no reason.
Totally uncalled for. Everyone was upset after that.
I know. I was thinking to myself, you know how much that'd be worth at Costco? That's a big box of sunflower seeds, man. What are you doing?
My kids were so upset.
I thought the same thing, but that'll certainly liven up baseball. Maybe it'll liven up the Angels, man. We've talked about them just being in a funk, just trying to right the ship and get it going in the right direction again like they did early in the season. Sometimes, a moment like this, a team can kind of, rally together, get behind. Maybe this fight will do it.
Maybe it will.
No more seeds.
Maybe. This is how you act when you're threatened.
Don't waste the seeds. I think that's the moral of the story here, right? For all those baseball fans out there. Hey, and for the Dodgers too, man. It was the Dodgers versus the Braves this weekend, which is the last two previous World Series champions getting together. Freddie Freeman made his triumphant return to Atlanta. But if you're a Dodgers fan, and I feel bad for the guy, but they were really getting on Kenley Jansen. So Kenley Jansen is the former closer for the Dodgers, and he blew so many games for the Dodgers. Well, he did exactly the same thing against the Dodgers last night. The Dodgers were down to their final strike, and they came back, they tie the game, they go to extra innings, and they beat the Braves in extra innings, and poor Kenley Jansen just got destroyed, of course, in the court of public opinion on social media.
Yeah, it's like the Dodgers knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, for the first time they were happy to see it happen, right?
They're like, we've seen this before. And the Freddie Freeman thing, boy, a lot of bloviating and how great Atlanta was, and tears. You're not there anymore, dude. You're on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know what I mean? I was feeling bad for Dodger fans. He's crying like crazy, other than he played really great, and he's really the reason that the Dodgers beat the Braves. So that made it much better.
Yeah, I think it's painful for Braves fan to see him, Freddie Freeman doing so well with the Dodgers, coming over, getting all that money, doing well with the Dodgers. But I'll tell you what, man, Atlanta's still a pretty good team, even without Freddie Freeman. So this could be another postseason matchup we see down the road. Of course, still a lot of baseball in front of us, but they certainly still love him there in Atlanta, man. Freddie Freeman, getting them to a World Series, winning the World Series, they still love that guy, big time.
Yeah, they do.
All right, and finally here, let's talk a little NBA draft as we kind of sort out what happened in those first two rounds of the NBA draft. And here's another local angle. So the previous season, we saw the great Evan Mobley out of Rancho Christian High School. He's a Temecula guy. He got drafted, I think it was number 3 overall to the Cleveland Cavaliers and had a great rookie season for Cleveland. Well, the Cleveland Cavaliers actually drafted his brother, Isaiah Mobley, also out of Rancho Christian, Temecula, and USC. So now they got both Mobley brothers, and these guys are like 6'11", 7 foot, and they've got the complete game. These guys are legit.
I think this is genius move by this is where the two brothers can really help out Cleveland. The Mobley brothers,
i.e. taking over Cleveland.
That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we've mentioned this before here. Cleveland's actually pretty good. I can't believe it. The post-LeBron era, they've brought in some young guys. Kevin Love is like a super sixth man now for them. Like they found a way to win after LeBron James left, and it's a bunch of young guys. And I think adding Isaiah Mobley to his brother, Evan Mobley out there, I think Cleveland's going to be a force in the East for years to come because these guys are, for the most part, pretty young.
Yes, they are.
I mean, it was because Cleveland was down for so many years and drafting very high after LeBron left there. Yeah, now they finally are feeling the effects of that rebuild all these years later.
And then, Pep, you see the Lakers picked up Pippen's son and Shaq's son for the Summer League, right?
Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr., Sharif O'Neal. Yeah, just bringing him. I don't know if it's just for nostalgia's sake, or I mean, because both these guys could play, but could they play at the level of like their fathers, or even just to get to the NBA? I mean, they weren't drafted, but at least maybe they could go to the summer leagues and maybe find a way into training camp. Like who knows? But yeah, obviously coming from great pedigree.
Is this a bad sign that, is this really what the Lakers need to be doing, is signing guys that are just pedigree names?
Right.
Is it a bad sign for the Lakers?
Yeah, either it goes bad, but one of them, I mean, this is an opportunity. You know what I mean? If they are able to play well, I mean, look at Gary Payton too, right? He battled his way through the G League and he made it. So maybe they're kind of looking at that like, hey, maybe that's the way we can make it.
No, I think you're right. If they earn the spot, right? If it's not just on their last name, if they actually earn the spot, then more power to them. The thing that really hits home for me is, are we that old that these NBA superstars that we watched in their heyday were like, wait, they have sons old enough to play in the NBA now? Oh my gosh, when did this happen? When did we all get old?
It happens.
We're really only a couple of years from maybe LeBron's son being there too. That would, he is like the new generation guy. To already have his son there would feel a little weird too.
Right. We're getting so old. We have to wait to see what develops in the NBA with the kids of the stars that we watched when we were kids. And the fighting in baseball. Pep will keep us all on top of it when we catch up with him on Thursday. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Hey, you can get our stuff at Inland Sports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. You can check it out. Kenny Clark, Green Bay Packers from Carter High School in Rialto. You can check him out. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Bet.